It was a 580-page avoidance of any serious explanation. If you look at it, and of course I have, only the first chapter goes into looking at what actually happened at 9/11 and leading up to it. All the rest, which is far and away the great majority of the report, is not actually about 9/11 as such at all, but it is about the kind of alternative arrangements or preparations that America needs to make in future to avoid it happening again. And indeed, there is one statement it makes which I think sums up the whole report. It is widely known and believed that Lieutenant Mahmoud Ahmed, who was the head of Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, the ISI, asked a known Islamic militant called Omar Saeed Sheikh to wire $100,000 to Mohammed Atta, the leading hijacker, in the period leading up to 9/11. That has since been confirmed by the FBI. What the report, the official investigatory report, says is that the US has never been able to find the sources of financing for 9/11. And then they say this: that, after all, is a matter of no great importance. I find that astonishing. It is a matter of absolutely central importance. So there was a very great deal of evidence, and it seems to me extraordinary that the United States, with its stupendous military capabilities and the most technologically advanced country in the world, completely and totally failed to follow up these leads. I think that 9/11 provided the trigger to enable the US administration under George Bush to put in place a geopolitical strategy to seek American control.
They made sacrifices. Most likely, it's an operation in psychological warfare. It's a form of war, and in a war, it's acceptable when people die, even on your own side. In this deception, killing is allowed to achieve a higher goal.
All that I can say is, let other people make their judgments about 9/11. If they think that the war on terrorism explains it, I would like to know why all the facts about the failure to respond before, at, and after can be explained. If they needed a trigger, then finding that an attack was planned was an exceedingly convenient pretext, and I think they used it. Governments, and people don't like to think of this, governments can be ruthless.
They only think in terms of power. Democracy and constitutional states don't play a role. That's the philosophy behind it, which unfortunately is shared in the United States by both parties. People with moral objections don't stand a chance.
The truth is, conspiracies do sometimes occur. In history, there's no doubt about that. When you look at that evidence, it is so compelling, so comprehensive, that it is very difficult, in my view, to come to a different conclusion from the one that I do.
What was the September 11th attack other than an attack? Was it the great disruption the conservatives were waiting for? Enabling this new, more aggressive United States policy? Now there is public support in the United States for a war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and threats towards Syria, Iran, and Korea. A cynical politician might say, every disadvantage has an advantage.
They are facts. They're uncomfortable facts. They're shocking facts. Deeply, deeply shocking. But you have to face up to them because they have actually happened. And they demand an explanation which is the most cogent, the most compelling, the most plausible to fit those facts. We do need to know the truth. we do need to know the truth.